Hello, everybody. My name is Patrick Collins, and I am teaching the class titled Photo, Film, and Music. This is an elective class, and it's a combination of 7th and 8th graders in there. It's a fun class. It's pretty much as its name says, okay? So we go through these three genres. We go through photography, and that's what we're doing right now. And we start with the first photograph ever taken, and we end with some optical illusions. Okay. In the course of doing the photography class, we like to practice with our taking photographs of in the style of what we're looking at. We started with some awkward photos, okay, and hope that wasn't too embarrassing for anybody. And then we're now working through photography inspired by, first we did stuff looking at the photographs of Gordon Parks and Sebastião Salgado, Diane Arbus, Ouija, and the students would look at their form of their photography and then try to copy it. More recently, we've been instructed by Edward Murbridge, and then we're getting nature photography, looking at the decisive moment, onward for about another 2 weeks or so. Each section of the class is about 3 to 4 weeks, okay? After we do photography, we'll be looking at and listening to music, and the focus on that is mostly within the American tradition, okay, starting with folk music, and then that branches out into things like the blues, rock and roll, and then contingents of that, okay. We also will be looking at jazz music and seeing how all these types of music tie into sort of the social, historical elements of the time in which they were developing. My background is a social studies teacher, so when I'm teaching about music, I don't really teach about the technical aspects of, say, rhythm or meter or those kind of things, because it's more about looking at the elements that in society that brought that type of music about and what it means. Okay. Now, with the music thing is I don't expect the music that I play in class to be the type of music that your young people would necessarily be listening to on their own. Okay, so I'm okay with them sort of being like, oh God, this song is terrible. This guy's voice is so bad. What's his name? Bob what? Bob Dylan? Yeah. Okay. So, but I'm here just to hopefully broaden their horizons and let them know that even though you may not particularly be the music you listen to with your friends, I want you to have a sense of appreciation for it. Okay, so it's more like an art appreciation class in that sense. Okay, the last component of the class, and this is usually the most popular one, although I'm finding that kids like photography a lot too, is the movie part. Okay, and I do movies last because there's the elements of photography that go into movie making, and also sound or music, and the movies kind of put that all together. Okay, along with the storytelling aspect and all that. And in fact, we did already look at the photographs of Edward Murbridge, and some people consider him one of the pioneers in developing the medium of film itself. So we're sort of getting there already. With music, like with photography, with films, like with photography, I look at the history of films, okay, starting with the first films, and work my way through it, incorporating genres of film as we go, like neorealism, documentary, things like that. I make an effort to show as many different countries or continents of filmmaking as possible, because I think it's important for students to realize that there's more than Hollywood out there, right? And so that said, sometimes we just want to have the conversation with our young people that if a film is in black and white or if it has subtitles, it doesn't mean it's not worth watching. Okay. Again, like with the music, I'm not going to be showing films that are going to be necessarily blockbuster smashes. Okay, that would be easily available, say on Netflix or something. But hopefully, films that are interesting, that give context to the films that are coming out. So, for example, I showed the film Battleship Potemkin, which came out in the 1920s, and it is a form of Soviet propaganda. It was to celebrate the struggles that had led to the Bolshevik Revolution, and it was commissioned by the Bolsheviks to make. what happened though with the making of this film, the filmmaker Eisenstein, he actually developed some techniques in filmmaking which were quite new for his time, and so since then the film has become one of the seminal classics because of the editing alone. Okay, and so we watch that, and then we'll watch the scenes that really were innovative for the time, and we'll compare them to scenes of modern films that reference that film. Okay, so that's how we approach sort of the older films in order to give them relevancy and context for the films today. Okay, those films that we watch, normally we would watch them in class, okay? But because of the epidemic, we won't have class time to watch the films, and we usually get through about 2 a week, okay? Now, I know that's a lot to ask, and I'm trying to find films that are you won't have to rent or buy because it's not, it's not really fair. So I'll put up links, and then mostly to YouTube or other free sites where you can watch the films, we're probably going to change it to maybe one film a week or 1.5 films a week, just because I know time is an issue, and it's a matter of how much time do you want your child to be, staring at a screen, right? To be perfectly honest, okay. So that's what the class looks like. It's the class doesn't have a lot of homework, okay, because it's an elective class and it's more just experiential, okay. And just exposing our young people to new things that hopefully will be interesting to them, but also sort of challenge the way that they're already going through and looking at these different mediums, and hopefully giving them a deeper understanding of even what they're already experiencing. Okay, so that's the class. I will send an email out a little later if you have any questions. And I've actually had parents come in before. I've had parents who've worked in the different industries: photography industry, music industry, film industry, and they've been great because they they presented to us. So if you feel like, oh yeah, I actually have something to say about this, or actually I've experienced this, you could always do a webinar or something like that, and it'd be great because it's good for the students to hear people and see people who are actually generating the material that we're studying in class. Okay, so thanks again for coming. Thanks for having such awesome kids who are so resilient and interested and engaged. I love that, and they're just already a pleasure to teach. So I love that. So have a good afternoon, good night, whenever you're watching this, and I'll talk to you later.